The way we're recording this, just so everyone is clear, we have a Facebook Messenger like video chat, and then we're recording ourselves on nice equipment. And so like crazy things are happening behind the scenes. Friends. Crazy.
It's very serious. It's very serious.
But this is what we have to do in quarantine. Hey everybody, it's Abby, your Everyday Mermaid, and this is
Lauren,
my Mergal pal, and this is
Courtney Mermaid.
Yay!
This has been a long time coming, Courtney.
Oh, so long. So long. So long. I've been listening religiously. I'm like, okay, one day it's gonna happen.
Yes.
I remember one day Abby was like, we got a lot of people like listening to our newest episodes, and I don't know why. And she like scoured the internet trying to find it, and it was Courtney Mermaid just watching the two of us fools sit at a table talk to each other with ridiculous mood lighting. By the way, that's when we had the two different color gels, Abby, if you recall.
My God, yeah.
Oh yes, that was the fancy lighting.
So Courtney Mermaid was watching us in our early days and shouting us out on the internet.
Oh,
it's true.
Yes.
So I guess we really have Courtney to thank for our success.
We do. True.
No, it just took that like one little drop that made the ripples, and then they grew. I was so stoked when I found you guys. I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. This is what I wanted. Where have you been all my life? I could just relate so much to you two. I'm like, yes, this is the quality mermaid content that I have been searching for. Very good.
It's going to say, you've started your own podcast, haven't you?
I did. It was a long time coming. I'd been working on it for eons, but I just didn't have like the guts. Was going to say something else, but the guts to kind of just do it. I don't know. And then, you guys inspired me. And of course I didn't know like what app to go with and like all of these things. Like, how do you actually do it? I don't know. I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing half the time. Oh. It's an adventure.
Well, I mean, I love, personally, if you haven't listened to Courtney's podcast, Scales and Tales, you should, because I love it.
Yeah.
And we'll link it somewhere in this lovely doodah. But if you haven't listened to it, it's great. And I think the reason that Lauren and I connect to you, Courtney, is because we are similar in the fact that, we don't really, we just kind of like tell it like it is. Yes. And as we want to be, of course we're kind and polite, but there are things that we just don't really sugarcoat, because why do that? I feel like there's a need for relatable and like truth out there. And we both kind of bring that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really awesome. And I love that about your podcast too. I don't feel like why would you listen to something if people weren't gonna, I don't know. I feel like that is a bit of a theme among other podcasts, not necessarily like mermaid related podcasts, but just like podcasts out there. People are too afraid to say something that they think, like, there's no need to be like mean about it, but like if you've got an opinion, have an opinion,
Yeah. What I like about it is that it does, when I go back and listen to myself, I'm like, I do need to put a qualifier on some things, because like my sarcasm will come out and it's not like, so I'll go back and kind of qualify what I'm saying and just be like, what was it I said the other day, or like one of them? Oh, when I said homophobia was boring.
Oh yeah.
I listened to it like a while ago, and I was like, it's not boring in the sense that you shouldn't like take it seriously. You absolutely should, and there are dire consequences that have happened from like people being homophobes. And so it's like, but you being a homophobic person, I don't have time for that. That's boring to me, and I don't. Yes. I have zero time for.
It was like the context of it. The context is very important. Like if you don't know a person, you're like, wait, they said this. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should take it more seriously than that.
Well, I think,
girl, I live for your sarcasm, though. I live for it.
Yes. Yeah, Lauren's sarcasm is one of the reasons I think
it's
our podcast
gold.
works. Yes. Okay, so Courtney.
Yes.
So you have a YouTube video about this. However, I would like people who have not seen your YouTube video about your mermaid story, which is quite the story.
Oh,
you
gosh.
know, I think it would be cool for you to do a condensed version, and we'll link the YouTube
Okay.
version to this doodah here. But tell us about your mermaid story.
My mermaid story. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's a 26-minute long video. So to sum up, yeah, I started off as in like sort of 2006, kind of experimenting how do you make mermaid tails and this sort of thing. My mom and my grandma helped me out, and kind of the first few mermaid tails were born. It kind of just, it was how to really sum it up?
I know.
I had, right? Yeah, because it's like so much. But I just had a need to have like a sense of belonging somewhere above and beyond. Like I've been in all kinds of groups, like, you know, horseback riding was a thing for me. I did archery. Like I was in a bunch of different things. This is like not in the video portions. This is extra. But I never really felt like I fit in particularly anywhere just nicely. And so, you know, that was part of why I was kind of looking for, and I also wanted to make a really like authentic mermaid experience. I wanted to figure out how to do it and be like super comfortable doing it. So that was part of the, I guess, what's led me to where I am now, making mermaid tails and apparel and stuff like that, trying to make a really authentic mermaid experience for people. And I don't know, it just it was very kind of organic, and it had its ups and downs for sure, where I was like, okay, am I doing this as a hobby? Is this my job? What is this? Do I want to quit my day job? Like, which I did eventually quit my day job. But, you know, you tell people you're a mermaid, they're like, yeah, so I'm sorry, you do what now? Oh, you swim in a mermaid tail. Okay, that's cool. Good for you. But but you know, like it just sort of came about really organically. And I, you know, it's sort of funny because, I mean, I just turned 33. And I'm always like, well, am I too old to be doing this now? Like, is it too late for me? Did I miss the boat, so to speak? And that's not true, but that's always just in my mind, right?
Totally.
Because I spent like 9, almost 10 years of my life in the animation industry, as a character designer on, you know, kids' cartoons, movies, the whole thing. Mobile games and all of that. But when I really think about it, like all of that, it took all of that to get me to the point where I can do this stuff that I do now, like the making the mermaid tails, like all of that knowledge actually applies. So when I had that realization, everything kind of came together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that was even close to being condensed, but that's a thing there.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I think
Good.
it's interesting, and I think this is just a life lesson for everyone, myself included. I think, you know, I'm like, why did these things happen? Like, why did I have to start this character company and learn about marketing and business and social media? Like, why did I have to go through all that trouble? But it's just these puzzle pieces that are being put together, you know, by the universe, by whoever you want to contribute that to. But, you know, I just think these puzzle pieces do all eventually come together.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
you know,
It might take a
for
minute,
all of
but
us.
they do.
Yes. And still, I mean,
100%.
yeah, the puzzle is still definitely not complete on my end, but, you know, I think it's cool to see finally some of these pieces being put together, and your puzzle pieces being all put together is pretty cool too.
Aw, shucks, thanks. You know, it's definitely a work in progress. I think that's part of the beauty, though. You know, if it was all about just getting to the finish line, as my screen turns off, you know, what kind of fun is that, right? The journey is supposed to be the destination. How does that quote go? Anybody?
It's not the destination,
You
it's
know
the
that
journey.
quote, the journey is your destination, but it's like that's part of it. And I think if more people were able to appreciate that instead of looking at like the people who've made it, the people who are doing it, and just know like, you know, we all had to kind of trudge through. That's why I made the video, was because I think a lot of people assume that I just kind of started like where I am now. But I've been doing this for a really long time, and it's taken a minute to get here. And I don't want people to feel bad if they're like, well, I'm not there yet. You know?
Yeah.
Not that I'm anywhere amazing, but just saying, you know.
Oh no.
We are getting there.
Yes. And I
One step
think
at a time.
Yeah, I've had a few people tell me, like, there's chitter chatter among the mermaid community.
Oh,
And,
really?
Chitter chatter.
A
Do
little
tell.
bit. Well,
What's this?
just in my experience, people being like, why does Abby get to be a Mertailor ambassador and I'm not, or whatever? And I'm like, I mean, I've been
Oh,
working
yeah.
really hard for like a gazillion years. I'm very old.
Let me tell you,
very old.
this
Oh, geez.
but that's why I'm Abby's friend, because she comes to me when stuff like that happens, because I live for it. I'm like, tell me
It's
the
true.
juicy gossip, Abigail Beltwell, and I will sing the song
Oh,
of
man,
my
that's
people.
rough.
Oh, it's so great. I'm like, because here's my thing. I'm such a drama queen, but I don't want it in my life. So I'm like, if Abby's got it, I will listen to it all day long. I will commiserate with her all day long, and I will be like, listen here, let's take down these things all one at a time. It's great. And then I go with my little life, and Abby feels like she's unloaded the things she needs to unload, and I have gotten my juicy gossip for the day. And
Totally.
yes,
I can appreciate
That's what
but the
friends are
drama, my fishes.
but yes, Abby is
that's
a
a hard one
Mertailor
to deal
ambassador
with.
because she works her tail end off to get to where she's gotten, and that's why.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not a Mertailor ambassador, because I have not worked my tail end off to get to where I have gotten. I have let Abby do all the work, and I will support her in every way, shape, and form.
And that's really good. And it takes a lot. I don't think everybody realizes exactly what goes into being like an ambassador for a company. I'm an ambassador for a few different companies, and there's like rules and like contracts and like things that you do and you don't do, and you have to like participate in all of the different things, whether you feel like it or not. You don't feel like it, you know what I mean? You have to put your, you're also like, you have to really want to do it for the company, for starters. You can't just kind of sort of like a company and do it. You have to believe in them like 110% and be like, that's the company. That's how we're doing the thing. I believe in them, and we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
but,
you've basically signed up for a job. It's a job.
Yeah.
Like, you have certain, and any job requires a certain amount of hours that you have to put in order to get the work done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
In all cases.
Well, tell us more about Shop Vancouver Mermaid.
What I do is, in terms of tails versus apparel, I make the tails myself. That's 100% me, and then I have a company that prints them for me, obviously, but that's that. The apparel I actually outsource to a company in Quebec, and so they do all of the sewing and the printing, but the designs are all still mine. So I am the digital artist behind all of the stuff on shopvancouvermermaid.com, as well as like everywhere that I do, all the things. It's interesting working for yourself. Lots of hats. But yeah, Shop Vancouver Mermaid, the whole tail thing kind of came about, and I talked about it in that video as well. It came about when I discovered that, like, I've actually created something really good here. I think I might need to share this with people, because I think people need to experience this.
Yeah.
And at the time, I have the best timing in the world for things, by the way, because as soon as, pardon my sniffling, by the way, my nose is a whole thing, so that's good. But by the time I was ready to like release and be like, yes, I've got slots, everything's happening, then Finful came out with their fabric tails, and then not too long after, Mertailor started doing the fabric tails, and now of course he does the custom tails as well. And so I was like, look how that was good timing, Courtney. If you would just, well, that's the thing, right? Like, I didn't really have the guts to kind of just go and do it.
Right.
When I was originally thinking about doing it, it took me some time to kind of build up to that. And obviously I just didn't want to start putting a product out there if I hadn't have totally tested it myself. And I mean, I've made, as of now, like 50 plus mermaid tails in my lifetime, so it's good. I've got experience. Excuse me. But yeah, the mermaid tails, it's good. So I do them, they're fully custom, measurements, design, scales, fins, the whole works. I make them for a couple of different monofins. I don't make them currently for the Mertailor monofins just because I don't have any of his fins either, right? And and he's got his custom thing, so I figure he's doing what he's doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's good. But I don't. Oh, can you actually see it through the window? No, you can't. Well, you guys might be able. No. Oh, no, it's hidden. Okay. My Siren Tail has one of his fins, the first fantasy fin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I quite like that fin, so that was good. I know everybody likes the really big flukes. I like them small. Little flukes.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
it makes
so
me want to
shopping
sing
for
that Lizzo
Mermaid.
song.
Oh,
I
what's
like
that?
the mini flukes. I like the big flukes. That.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're one of the few. You're one of the few that makes a skin for Lyndon's tail, aren't you? Okay.
I guess so. Am I?
Not many people.
Actually, don't know anybody else who does. Yeah.
Mer
I
Taylor
think
makes the guppy.
Eric
but
does.
Other than
yeah.
that,
He
Oh,
does
the
make
guppy. Yeah, he's got
yeah.
the guppies. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, my nose.
Oh no, you're fine. And I know that. I mean, obviously, our favorite mermaid seamstress taught me how to put Lyndon's tail in a fin fun, but that makes me nervous.
I
Yeah,
know.
I'm always a bit leery about putting like the wrong monofin in the other tail skin.
know.
It's all I'm like, oh, I'm not brave enough for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip it.
No,
I'm gonna wreck it.
I don't
Yeah.
rip it. Yeah, I'm gonna wreck it.
So on the show we always have what we call a hashtag.
Jody
Jody.
moment.
Jody.
Play the song, Abby. Play the song.
I'm
Here we
so
go.
excited.
So tell us, Courtney. Do you have a hashtag Jody moment?
Oh my gosh, I was actually rehearsing this morning. Like, what am I gonna say? They're gonna ask me. What am I gonna say? Like, I don't even. Oh my gosh. Okay, hashtag Jody moment. So, not specifically Jody, but it is Little Mermaid.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, Glenn Keane,
No.
an animator.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, like my hero. He was in Vancouver years and years and years ago now. Like 6-7+ years ago now. And he was giving a talk, and I like last minute was able to get tickets to go and see him and have him, giving a talk, and he drew like the beast for us and like Ariel for us, and like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack. And at the time I was just starting the mermaid thing a little bit more, and I was still working in animation, of course, as a character designer. And so as we were leaving, like they didn't give us a time to like talk to him really at all. It was kind of like he did his talk and then he left. And my husband, whose name is Eric, there's also a subtle little mermaid
Love it.
right in there, right? And he pulls me around the corner. He's like, Courtney, there he is. Just go tell him, go tell him. And I had to run over and be like, okay, so I'm in animation because of you. And I'm also a mermaid because of you. So just had to put that out there. Like, thank you. Like, I shook his hand. I was like trying not to cry and scream. Got a picture with him. I'm like, this is the coolest the coolest day of my life. So there you go. That's my moment.
Best day.
I'm sorry that it's not like Jody specific, but I figure it's sort of like indirectly kind of.
No. Jody would appreciate that moment for sure.
I hope
Right.
so, because boy, did I ever.
Yes.
Oh man, I was floating, walking on clouds. The happiest,
gosh.
like, Little Mermaid, because he's my hero, right? Like,
Yes.
every movie, such a fan.
So good. Oh my gosh.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
He's done some little shorts on like YouTube that I really like. Just little
Mm-hmm.
pencil drawings.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are-
oh man, just insane.
Yeah.
Just like the talent that oozes.
He just gets
too
like
good.
body movement so well. And that kills me.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it just like it's like he can see the muscles beneath people's skin to be able to draw them in
yeah.
a way that looks so realistic.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's got game. He's got skills. Man.
Skills.
I think back to like Tarzan. And I'm like, bro, like
So good.
can we just like how do you exist?
Well,
how do you do?
Do you remember
I-
like the little Disney the little snippets they used to do ahead of their VHS tapes? I remember I think it was like a Bug's Life or something had a little like they were like Disney stars and they were showing the creation of Tarzan. And it's like so they went to the skate parks and watched people skateboard and rollerblade and that's how they got
Yes.
the
Oh,
idea
yeah.
for him to
I remember that.
To,
to
like,
use
skateboard
the vines
animations.
and the mossy limbs to be Tarzan.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a major fan.
Yeah.
Such a
Huge.
major fan.
It's so
Too
good.
good. Too good.
Well, okay. The one thing I wanted to like dive deep a little bit really quick with you, Courtney, because I know that you are, you're pretty open about your health and how you have like stuff going on with your body and whatever,
Yes.
which I can relate to. So how, like, as much detail as you care to explain, but how has that affected your mermaiding, and how do you get
Cope.
past those obstacles? Because I know that you can't be the only one dealing with stuff like that.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a really good question. And there's a lot that I do. Nutrition obviously is a huge part of what I do. I recently became a holistic nutrition and health coach.
No
and I
way.
went for schooling for that. Yes,
I have so many
I'm
questions.
doing that. Oh, all the questions. But I wanted to have a very mermaid sort of spin on it because I really wanted to help people that are going through stuff kind of like what I'm going through. But I was in a car accident a couple of years ago. I was actually in 2 different car accidents, but the second one was far worse and has left me with all kinds of really good neck, back stuff, leg stuff, all really solid. So for me, planning to go to the pool is kind of it's like the day before kind of
Yeah.
a thing. Like I have to plan all the way until I actually go to the pool, and I have exercises and things that I do. I really pronounce that, exercises that I need to do and things. Yes, enunciate. But so it's kind of a daily thing. I know that if I miss a day of doing stretching, or I miss a day of eating well or drinking lots of water and, all the basic stuff that they always tell you to do, I do actually start to feel worse. Yeah, I know. And I have things like, I've got different, like, I've got one, what's the massager called? Now I forget what it's called. It's one of those electric massagers that look absolutely ridiculous, but are like the best thing. It's the best thing
Yes.
that I've ever bought for my neck pain. So good. And I have an acupressure mat that I use, a couple of different rollers that I use, a TENS machine. Ooh, sorry. Hitting my mic. A TENS machine that I use, and a few different things. And I take a lot of baths. I'm a real bath person. I spend a lot of
Yes,
time
girl.
in like an Epsom, right?
Yeah.
An Epsom
Yes.
salt soak. It's just my jam. I just do. I take extra magnesium. I take a lot of vitamin B. That really helps.
Yeah.
Because when you're in pain all the time, your mood can kind of just like,
Yeah.
And vitamin B is
Totally.
just so crucial in that department. But it's definitely impacted my mermaiding. There's days where I go to the pool, and you can ask any of the girls that I swim with, and they're like, yep, she lasted about 12 minutes, and then she had to get out of the pool
Yeah.
because it hurt too
Ah.
much, and she just couldn't. Yeah, foot cramps are the thing I deal with probably the most when it comes specifically to mermaiding.
Yeah.
Foot cramps
Yeah.
and cramping in here, which is fun to experience while you're swimming. Really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
foot cramps are fun. I have like toe spacers and things that I use, which are really helpful. But the thing is just like, don't quit. Like, don't give up because it hurts. Like, ask yourself, like, when you come home from the pool, if you had a crappy swim, like, sit down and actually say, okay, now what actually hurt? What did I do? What did I eat? And how could I shift that to make it a little bit better in the future?
Yeah.
Little things. It's all about trial and error, guessing and testing. That's kind of how I've managed to cope with it
Yeah.
all. So.
Well, this has just been a delight of the day for me, I must say.
Yay.
It's just been such a delight. Lauren, wouldn't you agree?
I would indubitably agree.
Too cute.
I want to mention, obviously you can follow Courtney at Shop Vancouver Mermaid, all the
Yes.
things, but you do have a Patreon that you're pretty like consistent with. So tell us about your Patreon.
For sure. So my Patreon pod, kind of like my extended pod community, if you will, the whole spiel. But basically, like, every month we do a coloring challenge, a piece of artwork that I put together. It's either like a mermaid tail or a character of some kind. We did a sea monster of sorts for April, which was really fun. I've also been putting those up on shopvancouvermermaid.com for people to grab and check out and color. And if you tag me, I'll share it on Instagram. It's very exciting. But yeah, I'm Vancouver Mermaid on Patreon or patreonpod.com. You will also find me there. But yeah, so the links to like all of my stuff is through vancouvermermaid.com. We'll link you to all of the things, like the
And
good
we
social
will link
media.
that
Oh, yeah.
here somewhere.
Thank you. For sure. Yeah, the
Yes.
Patreon pod's good though. I have a Discord community chat, lots of behind the scenes goodness that I
Nice.
post there first, polls. As my screen darkens again. And yeah, it's been a good thing. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. Actually coming up on my anniversary, May May, I think it's May 7th or May 17th. I can't remember. Is my,
Oh,
or no, the
exciting.
14th. The 14th, I'm
Nice.
pretty sure, is my Patreon anniversary. So it's kind
Ooh.
of kind of exciting. I'm trying to think
Speaking-
of what I want to do for it.
Oh, yes, you should do something
You should do
special. But, we also, we just celebrated your birthday as well.
Yes, we did.
Damn.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
exciting. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
I'm sad that it's during quarantine where you can't go out and celebrate and do things, but
It's okay.
we celebrate you here at the Everyday Mermaid Podcast.
Yes, this was the best birthday present ever. Oh my gosh, when you messaged me, I was freaking out, screaming like, Eric, you don't understand. This is happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Well, yes, it is truly our honor to have you here.
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for having me. This is such a highlight. I'm thrilled. I'm really so grateful.
Oh my goodness. So fun. Well, yes. Thank you again for coming on the podcast. We love you so much. And everyone go follow her at Shop Vancouver Mermaid. We'll link all the things here in the description, or if you're watching the video somewhere where I'm pointing, there will be a thing that pops up where you can click it. And if you want to follow us, we are at Everyday Mermaid Podcast on Instagram, and we do have a Facebook group called Fans of the Everyday Mermaid Podcast. If you
Yay.
want to check that out. And if you want to follow us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/everydaymermaid. All right, friends. Courtney, this was a blast. Don't
Indeed.
leave the Facebook group chat.
No, I won't.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're just going to stop recording.
Okay. Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we will
See you on the flip side.
bye.